Good afternoon, everyone. This is the January 2 Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting at 6 p.m. I will call this meeting to order at this time. And if you'll please stand with me for invocation.
Lord Jesus, we come to you tonight humbly, God, thanking you for another opportunity to represent our beautiful town. We ask that every decision made be made according to your perfect will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all give me just a moment and a moment of silence for Carl Schumacher, our maintenance worker who passed just recently. Just a moment of silence. Thank you. You may sit down. Just again, for the record, I don't know if I said 24, Tuesday, January 2, 2024 at 6 p.m. And let the record reflect that we do have a quorum tonight. Happy New Year to all the Board of Aldermen and everyone else is here tonight. This is the beginning of a new year for us. And so we don't have a heavy agenda, and concluding this meeting, we'll have a beer board meeting. That was also posted and notified. Board members, you have the minutes before you. You should have received your packet either in the email or personally pick those up for tonight's meeting. I will entertain a motion for those minutes to be approved.
Move, we approved it.
Motion by Alderman Carter. And second? Second by Alderman Maynard. Any excuse me, Alderman Woods, I'm sorry. Alderman Wood, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll approve the minutes by acclamation. All in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes have been approved. Thank you for that. Public comments. I'm going to call Mr. Don Robinson. He's got some information he wants to share in relationship to some things that's been going on. So, Mr. Robinson, you want to go ahead?
Okay, I just want to give you a quick update on the election commission, and we had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and as of now, Saltillo has got plenty of people, but we still want to try to get more and because we've got 3 elections coming up this year. March the 5th is a primary, August the 1st, and then November the 5th. So, you know, as the summer goes on, people want to go on vacation, things may change, so, and we sure want to keep some more. We want a pool. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank y'all and the mayor and everybody in here that's volunteered and helped on this and signed up for it. It really makes a difference because at the meeting at that time, Saltillo, they said had, of the precincts, had the most. So that's good.
Yeah,
We're,
really, yeah.
and they will be sending some of us to other places, but that's okay. That's if the other places need it. Because something I didn't know and I did find out, if you don't have enough to help hold the election, they can shut your precinct down.
Right, right. Yeah.
So we've got to keep that pool, stay diligent on that, and keep people that are ready to work and can work. And again, thank all of y'all. I appreciate it. It really.
If you would, remind us again of the new election commissioner, the administrator, what's her name again? I met with her.
Kim Nelson.
Melson.
Yeah,
Kim
Melson.
Melson, yeah. I met with her as well just recently,
Okay,
and just to piggyback on what he's talking about, I believe if you're gonna vote, from what I understood from their office, in the 2024 elections, you must be registered to vote by February the 5th.
Okay.
And so if you're not registered by then, you're not gonna be able to vote, is the way I understood it. But don't take my word for it. If you haven't registered to vote, or if you have questions, call the election
Yeah.
office, and so they'll
Yes.
know, get, straight from their office. Also, if you're going to be a candidate for office in Saltillo, that, I think that comes out around June. So they will help anybody in the community that's willing to put their name on the line to run for an office, be it mayor, alderman, those kind of things. So a lot's going on nationally, statewide, county, city, it's a big year for elections. So, like he said, and they told me the same thing, if it turns out we don't have enough people trained and enough people to work the election poll center, it can be closed at late notice, last minute.
Right.
Yeah.
They can just say, we ain't got enough workers, you're closed.
Yeah.
So,
Did you find out when have they sent you any information about when the training will be?
no, they did not know at that meeting, they was still, Miss Kim, it's all fell in on her at one time. And so they're trying to work through this and get through it, and she's gonna need our help, to get through that. It's gonna be a rough year this year, her first year on it.
Absolutely, and of course, all of the things that we have been dealing with, and thanks to Mr. Robinson for all that he's done, and Kathy Smith and others that's been involved in this, like you mentioned, that coming up on this election year, that election commission was very concerned about the decision was made to close it, and then we reopened it, and the crunch time for them. So we certainly need to keep them in our mind while they're going through that process, because she is, I mean, it's bad enough that it would be somebody that's been in the office for a while, but now that, what's on top of it, brand new to the office, so keep her in your thoughts and prayers.
And one other thing, I've got it here somewhere, I'll think of it here in a minute. Well, if I do, I'll tell you.
Okay, if you find it, just let me know.
All right.
Go back to it. All right, okay. So like I mentioned, board, there's not a lot of heavyweight things tonight, more of just discussion and updates, nothing to really vote on tonight. Under new business, you'll see posting for maintenance worker. I don't want it to sound insincere that we're posting this position already, but Carl and I talked a number of times and throughout the summer, and he had already verbally resigned prior to his passing. And so we've had this agenda made for a good few days. So just to let you know that, we're not really too concerned about filling this role immediately, but we need to get the process started. We'll probably post it here in the next couple of weeks, and we hope to have someone in place by March, pending the growth of spring grass. Mr. Jernigan and I have talked a little bit. We've been able to work a little closer here the last few weeks on some things. Actually, for more than just a few weeks, Carl he's been sick. He's been out a lot and things like that. So we think we can handle it, just mostly with Mr. Jernigan, up until the grass starts to grow pretty good. So we'll go ahead and start getting the position posted. It pays $12 an hour. It's 3 days a week through the summer. It's 8 hours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll put that notice in the paper, and we'll call through the applicants and see what we have. So we hope to get some good candidates to come in, and they do a lot of work keeping the town beautiful and keeping things up to par and all those kind of things. So it's a necessary position, because in the summer, just 2 people work real hard to keep it up. Especially midsummer when the grass is really hopping, Bermuda grass growing, it's tough. Okay. Y'all have any questions about that? Okay, so basically the process is, I'll interview the candidates, take in the information, Ms. Ann, take in the applicants as they come in. I may call one of you to sit in on an interview. If you'd like to do that, y'all just send me a message. I'd be interested in sitting on that panel. Doesn't require, I can interview everybody myself. I've done it for lots of years in interviewing people, but a second thought is certainly, or second, review is always good as well. So just keep that in mind. Any questions? Good. All right. Posting of fire chief, that's going to be done here in the next couple of weeks for sure. Dustin Bruce, who is the current acting fire chief, so he's acting interim, and so I know the board didn't have a chance to approve a lot of that because we had to do it at the resignation of another staff member. So we want to make sure we post that position as required and have the candidates apply. I'm sure you're going to apply, right? And so we'll know more about that in the future, okay? But those 2 postings will go up pretty quick. Posting of the police officer. We're not going to get in a hurry for this, but we have a patrol position that is vacant for now. We hired an officer. He worked with us for a while, and he left fairly quickly for a higher paying job. And so next month, this is probably gonna be an item on our agenda to discuss this position and the pay and things like that. We hope to, fill that position, before summer, but there's some things we need to discuss, and one of those is pay. That's why he left, and everybody around us that I've found out and the chief has talked to, that they're not paying $12 an hour, and so that's an issue. So we'll talk about that, no decision, but I want you to know that that's gonna be on the next month board agenda to discuss, filling that role and what we need to do to be, I say, somewhat competitive, okay? Y'all have any questions about that or not? Okay, so, that's the biggest thing for January, starting off in the new year. Mayor's report, I'll give you a couple of updates here real quick. The first thing is litigation for Scott Day Jr. versus the town of Saltillo. This is a wrongful death lawsuit that you all are aware of, that the family of Scott Day has filed a lawsuit for wrongful death. Our city attorney, Lewis Cobb, was initially involved in all of the ongoings with what we were dealing with. We have an insurance company that we pay for liability insurance and all those kind of things, the PE Partners. We work with them through Hardin County Bank, and they're the actual, Hardin County Bank is like an agent, but the PE Partners is the insurance agency. So they have assigned us a lawyer from the insurance agency. And so they are representing PE Partners and the city. So Lewis Cobb will not be involved in this part of it at this point. But they have, I guess so better words, they have filed a response with the court as proceedings go. I can't share a lot more about that, but we're in motion of a lawsuit. So that shouldn't be a surprise to you, but PE Partners is, we pay them, for insurance, and that's part of liability and things like that. So y'all have any questions about that at all? So we'll hear more as we move forward, but it's, it's moving through the court process, and we'll go from there, okay? All right, city right-of-way maintenance, drainage, and culverts. We did do some work here in the last month or so, well, actually the last month. We did some culverts and some right-of-way work around Willis and Hayslip. We paid a little money for gravel, and we paid a little bit of money for working, digging the ditches. T&T Dozer work is who we paid for that work. Some of, I think it's $800. And the gravel, I believe, Miss Ann, you got the gravel like $250, something like that? $175. And so where we're digging, of course, toward the end of Willis Street, water running out in the street, there's no definition of a ditch in that area, so we dug some out there. It didn't take him too long to do it. And then on Hayslip, we dug a little bit there. We have a detailed report of, I don't know that it's in your packet, but it's a detailed report of what the work we did and the bids that we tried to get over a year's time. So T&T, they were the last ones I called, and they were the only one that showed up to work. So we've got six, I think it was 6 on that list that we called, and I met with 5 of them that came out on the site. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll, give you an idea what it's going to cost. And never came back, never called back. So T&T Dozer work out of Adamsville. They did this work for us, and we'll probably do some more as we go on. We got some other requests. So the same issue on Hayslip was lack of definition of a ditch, okay, to keep the water channeling into the ditch. So the city did not pay for anyone's culvert other than one of the addresses. I don't want to call the name out because he is a veteran and he may not be able to afford the cost of the culvert, and he lives on Willis Street, and it was a issue where the culvert that was put in there was the wrong size, added on. One of them was rusted out, the other one was kind of caved in, so we just had to dig one completely out and get rid of it. That was the only way to fix it. So I felt like that was the city's responsibility because it was an existing culvert, and the only way you could fix it was dig it out. So that was done, but that's the only one that the city paid for. And that's just, we paid for others where are in traffic areas that require that work. Typically what happens is if somebody wants a culvert, they're called this office, and they'll say, hey, look, I got a new driveway I wanna put in, or I got whatever the issue is, that they either call us, and we don't typically buy the culvert for the individual. But now, in this case, the only way to fix it was we did buy it, because we knew he wasn't gonna be able to pay for it. So, if you just wanna put in a culvert in your yard, and we can go around the backside, that's not always a necessary need. But I'll give you an example. One of the requests I had recently was over on Gumtree. We haven't done any work over there, but I did get a call. But if you go over to Gumtree, you drive down the road, on the left side, there's a ditch all the way down the road. On the right side, there's no ditch anywhere. So we really have to take it almost one situation at a time. Over on Camp Road, there's a ditch, not all the way down the street on one side, and the other side has no ditch all the way down the street. So one of the people who put in a culvert last year, he hired some contractors to do some things down there that he put in a culvert like our ordinance says, but there's no culvert anywhere else but in his driveway. So it's throughout town, as you know, we have to look at those situations. So anyway, just to let you know, there's some ongoing work. TNT Dozers is very reasonable at their price, and the guy that's running the equipment, he's pretty quick at it. He don't dilly-dally around, he gets it done. I think it took him about 8 hours to do it, $100 an hour. That's what he did for us, for the city fee. And so, anyway, anybody have any questions about any of that? Ongoing work. We got other requests that are pending, but if anybody has a request about those kind of things, they need to know. We require a 12-inch culvert in the ditch. Some places we don't have authority to work on, such as off of Highway 69. We don't have the authority to override what TDOT does, because it's a state highway. So in and around the city and things, we can do some things. So it's a lot of little things that we have to make sure before we start digging or do anything. Got to call 811, please. If anybody digs anywhere, call 811. I'm the origination of that call, and then the company that does the work, they just copy what I called in, so that we're all protected for any kind of damage to fiber optic, water, gas, all that kind of stuff. Okay. All right. Update the system-wide park grant. We thought we would have a preliminary plan completed by tonight. However, the grant is not due to open, I think, until April, so we got a little bit more time. I expect next month, George Brogdon, who is the person who's putting our system-wide park plan together, will be here. If not, he may do that at the end of January. So we have a planning commission meeting scheduled for January 24th. So if he's able to come on the 24th, we may do it that night instead of the planning commission. So we'll see. Or it may be 2 meetings like we're gonna do tonight. So so far, the only thing we've done with parks is agree to make a system-wide park plan. That's all we've done. Yeah. And we're still, working on that. He calls me regularly, and we're, about what we need, data for this and data for that. We found a kind of a strange part to our park here behind the school community center. There's a small piece of land right in the middle of the baseball field that is owned by the county, which is kind of a strange anomaly. That I don't think you see that very often, but it's landlocked. It's got all city park all around it, and you can look at it on Tennessee property data. But right in the middle, like an outfield of that ballpark, it's a piece of land owned by the county. So I've recently talked to Mayor Davis about what that is and what can we do. Is it something that that the city might have interest in acquiring? Just because it's one little blotch of land, it's not going to interfere with our park grants or anything like that. So it's just a strange thing. And some of you that live around here, been here all your life, y'all may know what that is. They told me initially, that's probably the tennis court. Well, the tennis court's in a completely different spot. So I don't know, but that's something we're kind of working on. It's just a little strange thing. No big deal, really. Updates on a couple of other things regarding grants. So the Tennessee Riverline grant is open. That is a 50-50 match. I'm in the process of talking to TWRA, looking at the city's possibilities of doing a grant in connection with them and that river, because we've talked about some potential to get involved with the Tennessee Riverline community. I've been to a couple of meetings in Savannah with tourism and Tennessee Riverline, all those kind of things. They think we're kind of a great opportunity for a grant for our riverfront to increase the paddling opportunities in the community. We don't own that land, and so there's a lot to be studied and looked at. However, next month, we may discuss about the application of that and where that is. But just because you apply for a grant doesn't mean you're gonna get it. So there are pretty competitive. We're talking about the whole Tennessee River, that they're gonna select a few sites for this Tennessee Riverline. So I'm working on that grant personally. We don't have any outside agency working. I'm working on that and trying to put the data together. And I'm currently waiting on a partnership response from TWRA, because they've got some skin in the game. So how grants work, sometimes you can do something that doesn't cost you any money. That's what we would call an in-kind donation, and therefore you don't have to come out of any of the 50%. So my premise is that what I've talked to TWRA about, such as a kayak launch, if that thing costs $25,000, that would be their donation to the city, and that would count toward in-kind donation, so we wouldn't have to be out of any pocket money. So we don't. There's a lot of little ins and outs. If anybody wants to work on this with me, just give me a phone call and I'll show you where we are and what we need to do. Doesn't mean we're going to get it, but we've been recommended to apply for it. Let me just say that. Any question about Tennessee Riverline grant? All right. So just so you know, the month of January, February is grant season. Okay, all kinds of grants are open. The update on Tennessee Downtown Grant, that was some talk about that here in the last few meetings or month. Not open yet, so the city hadn't applied for anything. We had a guest come and tell us about it. She explained that, you know, it's no out-of-pocket money to the city. It's all coming out of the businesses that help apply for the grant. The conduit for the grant would be the city, but the city wouldn't spend any money on it, so that hadn't even opened yet. CGBD grants, that's the grant such as what we got sirens for, that big block grant. That's not quite open yet. It's coming open, I believe, this month. I'll tell you about some calendar dates here in a minute, but we have talked before about big ticket items that the city may need. That's an 80-20% match. So I say all of that to say that we've got this ARPA money that we have to earmark to be spent by the end of 24. Is that right, Rosanne? End of 24. And it has to be, spent by 26. So we're gonna have to do some work on this ARPA money that's in our account right now to communicate to the feds basically how we're gonna spend it and what we're gonna do with it, because we're gonna run out of time pretty quick. And some of these grants take a while. So for the record, we have not spent any money on any grant, nor have we officially applied for one, because none of them are open right now. They're just beginning to come open, but we've discussed a lot of it. But we have agreed to pay the company for the system-wide park plan, which is a piece that has to be put in your park grant. So with all of these grants, Southwest Tennessee Development, we pay them a fee to help us with grants and things. They got grant writers and they've got, you know, administrators there to help you with that, just like we do with the sirens. So they will be involved if we begin to apply for a grant and administer it and all that kind of thing. So that's all kind of what's going on. And just so you know, in the last Southwest Tennessee Development meeting, they gave me a packet of all kind of grants that are out there. If the city may be eligible, may not be eligible, this is all there is out there. Not saying we're gonna apply for all of them, because some of them we won't qualify for. And then, just because you apply doesn't mean you're gonna get it, okay? So coming up on our calendar, I've got a grant, it's February. There's a grant workshop, February 23rd. I'll be going to that in Jackson. And then in January the 4th, this is Thursday, there's a legislative update in Jackson that I'll be attending. And then on January 24th, there'll be a Tennessee Road Map to Tourism at the outpost that I'll be attending. And that meeting was supposed to have been in December, but the people that are doing the Tennessee Road Map for Tourism had some schedule conflicts, so we've rescheduled it. So a lot going to be going on in 2024, and certainly budget season is upon us, which brings us to our biggest topic of the day, I guess, is financial report. So let's take a minute to look at that, unless y'all have any questions about the grants.
I have one question.
All right, go ahead.
You said, did you say that there was a Riverline grant meeting sometime soon? Did you say that? No, they're coming here on January 24th?
Yeah, January 2024, January 24th is a Tennessee Road Map to Tourism event. It's not a grant there, but the tourism folks will come and talk to.
They're gonna come
the
here?
group. No, they're not coming here. I'm going to the outpost, but this
Okay.
is through the Team Hardin that I'm involved with each month. And so they are coming to speak to the Team Hardin and Hardin County Tourism and all those Pickwick folks and all the things that's going on. So that meeting for the Tennessee Riverline is February the 7th. And that's kind of a core group of people, again, same group, people from Pickwick, Saltillo, Hardin County Tourism, and some other leaders that are involved in that. So, but that is specifically Tennessee Riverline. So we got a lot of things in our county that are really going that some of us don't know about. We've got a lot of tourism action. We've got a lot of the Tennessee Riverline stuff going on. That's through the University of Knoxville. So we got Hardin County, Team Hardin, that I meet with all the other county mayors, city mayors and county mayor and other leaders there. So behind the scenes, there's a lot of other things that just happen. So anyway, but if anybody, is interested in going to one of those meetings at some point, they're usually during the day, let me know. It's a good opportunity to network with what's going on, and for any future mayors to be involved in these meetings, like the Southwest Development Executive Committee that I'm on. That's where you hear a lot of this stuff firsthand about what's going on with the highway at TDOT, what's going on with Blue Oval, and that's the legislative updates and what the new laws are. That's where a lot of that stuff comes out. So anyway, all right, great question though. Anything else? All right, let's move on to finance. You may have some specific questions. I know you've gotten a chance to look over it. I will make one statement here so that everybody kind of understands. Alderman Wood asked me a question last month about some of our notations on our revenue and expenditures report say miscellaneous. So this report is set up through what our auditors and MTAS folks tell us to do. So some of the miscellaneous items, we can run a detailed report if you have questions about it, but some things we only do one time. So they advised us not to put in a whole budget item for a one-time event. They tell us to put it in a miscellaneous category. So if you look through here, in every category on the expenditures, and I'm just going to give you a little skinny real quick. If you look page 1, it says expenditures at the bottom. That 41,900. If you see it says 110, 41,900. That is City Hall. Okay. So there's a miscellaneous category there. If you go down through all these little line item numbers, 42,100, that's the police department. If you look on down the page, this is page 2, 42,200, that's the fire department. If you look on down, you'll see 44,300, that's the community center that has the senior center in it. And then the last one on the page 3, that is like 44,600, that's the park. So I have to write these things down every time I look at this report because I can't keep numbers in my head. I have to go back and look at it. So anyway, just how it's laid out and what it's worked. But if you will, we'll start with the good news first. If you just flip over to page 5, flip over to page 5. And if you look at current actual, that second column to the right, that's for this month only, current actual, page 5, that we are in good status for the month. We didn't spend more money than we took in, so that's a good thing. Y'all see the number there, if you will. If you look over the year to date, it's a little bit different picture. It's the second to last column. We are $16,600 over budget for the year. That doesn't look good, but as we move through the next 6 months, we'll recoup some things, 'cause we had some big expenses. So if you'll go back to page, I'm saying page 1 or 2, whichever one you want to look at. I just walked through you real quick on some of this. From page 1, property taxes, if you notice that, we're just now getting that come in. Ms. Jackson is gonna be real busy in January and February collecting property tax. It's all coming in. Local sales tax, we're pretty much on par with what we get from all the businesses that are in town. Wholesale beer tax is down, so, you know, there's some things there that we wish were better, because we get tax revenue on that, but it's down, and, you know, it may be good that people are not drinking as much. However, the liquor license and, I mean, the liquor by the drink revenue is up. So, you know, there's some things there that you'll see up and down on that last column. So, but anyway, our revenues are good, and we do have a couple of other big expenses that cost us through the year. So some of the big expenses on here are like our insurance bonds, $26,000 plus. So that kind of stuff adds up for the, and we pay that, you know, all out in lump sum, I believe, right? We pay that, and then we got Southwest Development and others, so. I don't know if there's any questions you have specific on it. You've had it a little bit. Street lighting, we're on par for that expenditure. Most everything is doing good, and we had some emergency purchases that we had on the street going toward the boat ramp. So anyway, any questions at all? Revenues and expenditures report. We are in good status for the month.
Well, last month, we had that insurance hit us last month.
Mhm, that's
and
right, that's right.
That's what throwed us.
Yep.
We talked about that last
That was
night.
kind of a, and you know, some of these things only get paid once a year. And
Right.
so they come out, when they come out, you don't have any control over it.
Right.
Also, if you don't have any question about revenue and expenditures, so at any time you have a question, you come up here, we can run you a detailed report on, you know, on some of these things to show you throughout the year what we've paid to what individual and stuff like that. It's not anything that's hard to do. Then in our account balances, this is money in the bank. You have that sheet in front of you, and those are specific checking accounts that we have, or accounts at Hardin County Bank. Excuse me, no, People's Bank, I'm sorry, People's Bank in Sardis. So we're in good shape. We have money. We're trying to be mindful as best we can with expenditures, and, you know, the town is blessed to be where we are at this point. So any additional questions? Okay, well, that is your financial report. We'll move right on. Report from Alderman. Any of Alderman have any reports? All righty.
We were below budget on the Christmas parade.
Below budget, well, that's good news.
Sure was.
Yeah,
So-
good news, yeah. And Christmas parade went very well, so we appreciate your work on that. It was great, and the weather worked out too, so, yeah.
Yep. It was good.
All right, yeah, that was a big day for us. Any additional? Okay, all right, department reports, Mr. Journey, we talked about you a little bit. Do you have anything you wanna add?
No.
All right, seniors, you told me we got a issue with a leak. You told it up there, and I'll get to that tomorrow. Anything else going on? I saw Sardis, bus here in town earlier today. Were y'all doing anything with them?
No.
They just come to get them something to eat, I guess, right?
That's so, I guess they just eat now, I guess.
I got you, okay, all right. All right, the fire department, okay, we'll let you go ahead.
As most of you know, we applied for a couple grants. We've applied for the VFEET grant, that was about $250,000. We expect to get somewhere around a third to half of that. They usually don't give out 100% due to how many applicants there are, but we did receive the wildland stuff, the 2 blowers, the 5 helmets, goggles, and the jumpsuits are on back order. Members responded to 4 calls for the month of December. I'm still going through the reports, trying to catch stuff up. There was some data that was not inputted and stuff, so I'm still trying to catch up. But the report says that we responded to 33 calls for the year. We have 2 members that should be going to EMR class in February and March on Saturdays. So we're really, really hopeful.
Let's
on
speak to that for a second. Just so you know, it's gonna cost us like $1,500. We budgeted that for the fire department. It's in
And
their
the training.
budget in the expenditures report. So we'll pay for those individuals to be trained.
Started looking into the replacement and spec for the fire apparatus. Plan to put in for the AFG grant, which opens up the end of this month. We're expecting that to cost from $565,000 to almost $600,000. The AFG grant takes 5% matching funds, which we plan to roll into the VFEET for next year, which will be 100% funded. That way we'll be nothing out of pocket. We're also planning on putting into the AFG grant because you can do 2 separate items, one for vehicles and apparatus and one for equipment and training and other purposes. We're looking into replacing all of our extrication equipment and some other stuff because the extrication equipment we have is old, out of date, and you cannot repair it, and you cannot get the fluid for it because the company's been out of business for over 10 years. So we're gonna replace that with battery-powered tools. That way we don't have to worry about the hoses, the hydraulic lines, and all that stuff. And the chili cook-off is January 27th, so anybody that wants to enter, it's free to enter for your team. If you want to sign up, just let one of us know. Reach out through the page or however, get a hold of me and we'll set you up. The Cajun Boil on the 18th, pre-sale tickets are available. The tickets are done through Eventbrite. You can pay with a card, or if you prefer, you can pay with cash and get a ticket in hand. I just asked that people will come see me. I had the ticket roll for that already. But the ticket prices will go up the day of the event at the door.
That's February.
Yes, ma'am, February 18th.
When was the chili cook-off again?
The January 27th.
Okay, thank you.
And they'll be here.
Yes. And also the Cajun Bowl will be here in the station. The Spring Thaw Car Show, we plan to have on the ball field, just because that's a nice big space. We welcome vendors that would like to come out. Just contact us, let us know. There is no electric available, but we will be having food, snacks, drinks, and stuff like that available as well too. And the cool thing is, we're not buying trophies for that. I'm actually making the trophies, so they'll all be special and unique and, you know, car themed. So it'll be really different. But I do have a point I'd like to bring up as far as ordinances and stuff. As far as the beer ordinance, the fire department is not a restaurant, so we do not qualify to get a liquor license or anything. But in the future, we would like to be able to have, distribute, and serve beer or wine, no liquor, at events. So we ask that there be a special exception made just for the fire department for fundraising events, with the alcohol not being a primary function. And that's all I have.
All right, any additional questions for
Don't we
Chief?
have something in our, beer license, or beer, ordinances that says that, special license?
There are some things in our beer ordinance that are very specific to who has to have a beer license, but the way I understood the law, and I would have to get a second opinion on that since he brought this up, is that you must have a beer license to be able to get a special events permit. So if you wanna do, let's say like, if El Portrillo has a beer license and they want to do a special event on the riverfront, have a dance and serve beer at the corner down there where the old store is, they can get a one-day permit to sell beer at that location because their permit is for their specific location. So to be able to, that's the way I understand that. So you, okay.
I think I remember when that came up about years ago, because it was brought up about, people having weddings and different at their house. And that you would pay $100 for a one-day beer permit. Now, maybe that was because you wouldn't be selling it, you would just be furnishing it, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
But I know it was open to those kind of functions, or that was,
well, it's something we will certainly review a little further, but the way I understand it from the law is to sell beer and to buy beer from the distributor. You just can't go buy beer at Willie's and then take it down the street and sell it. You can't do that. That's illegal. But if you buy beer from a distributor, you must have a business license
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So
That's
that's,
probably
but we will review that a little further and get a opinion on that matter, because we do have a special events permit, and it has some little restrictions in it as well. That will eventually go to the beer board anyway, which is y'all, and we're gonna have that meeting here shortly. So anyway, but that's something, we will certainly review and look at. But yeah, there are, and I think Alderman Wood, you and I did talk a little bit about that as well, so since then, I've kind of asked a few questions and went back
I
a little bit.
think,
so
the difference is you're selling it, and the person that's having the wedding or the 50th birthday was furnishing it.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
really to let the police department know, I think, that
Yeah,
was,
yeah, and there are two parts of the
Yeah.
permit, it's
It's probably-
a sale event, and there's
Yeah.
a event where you provide it, but we'll get more detail on that, but, speaking of all the grants and stuff, just one last thing as we move forward, the Tennessee surplus list, something I kind of discovered, as dealing with all these grants, is that at one time, Saltillo was in a program with the state of Tennessee, that we were able to get surplus items, be it a lawnmower, a tractor, or a desk, or a chair. And so we haven't been in this program for several years now. And so what they are doing for us, we've already, I think, got our packet together. It should be in the mail. If not, it'll be before the week's over. But we can send a wish list in to say, hey, we'd like to get a conference table with 6 matching chairs. So we send that to them, and then if something comes up like that, they'll call us and say, hey, look, we got a conference table you may be interested in. No obligation to take it, but there's another avenue for a small town like us to receive equipment, be it a weed eater or, and it's all state agencies, all their surplus goes to this location. So, anyway, like a fancy yard sale, I guess. So, yeah, but that's a new program we'll be involved in, and hopefully, it'll be something to our benefit. So if you think of something that, hey, the city could really use one of these, we'll put it on the wish list and we'll see what happens. I mean, no guarantees. Anyway, okay. All right, so I think at this point, we're due for a motion to adjourn.
I have one question.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I didn't know when I was supposed to ask that. I noticed, it reminded me from looking at the financial report. We've been looking and talking about street signs for years and years. And that just kind of got put by the wayside. The county had made an offer, we gave them a garage door and they would make our street signs for us, for the garage door. Now, I don't know what year that was. And whatever, but, I do think that that's something that, the street signs that the county made for their property over here, those are nice, new looking street signs. Ours are bent, tore off, whatever.
Or they
But I
don't
do
have
think that we budgeted $1,000 or $1,500 for several years and never used any of it, but I would like for the board to, consider that's some project that we can do in the wintertime, or initiate in the wintertime, to get all of our street signs, all new street signs.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Yeah.
because we have budgeted, and it's $1,000 now, and if they were doing their street signs, we would have to do some of the posting, but, I do think that would be beneficial. People will stop you on the street and ask you where a street is.
Because there are
we have
people
no
that
idea.
don't use GPS. There actually are people that don't use GPS and don't know
Well, sometimes GPS won't take you there. I mean, you know,
Right.
it makes it a
Some of the
mess.
streets in GPS were incorrect too.
Right.
I tried to correct them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
All
just,
right.
I just
Yeah,
think
I
that's
will.
something we should
Yeah.
consider.
Yeah, I will tell you, I called, Mr. Gerald, the road commissioner, today, and he's out of the office today, maybe the next couple of days. I think he's ill or something like that, or just, you know, still extending his holiday, but I briefly talked to him about some things. I don't know that the county will be able to do anything for us at this point as far as the highway department, but I did call our state contractor who's on the contract list, and they're $30 a sign. They're about $30 a sign, and that's for, you know, the green metal with the letters with the little border around it, so they're $30 a piece, and that's off the state contract list.
Well,
So-
we can do a bunch for $30, cause we have no signs on many
Yeah,
streets,
right.
and many of them look horrible where people, I mean, well, some of them just age and not well.
Yeah, so,
But,
go ahead.
Did you mention about the trade-off with the garage door?
I did.
Or have you mentioned that to Kevin Davis?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm trying
Well,
to,
anyway.
go to, you know,
I
chain
meant, I
of
meant,
command,
I
you
meant
know.
to call Darnell, because, you know, he can remember
Right,
lots.
yeah, no,
But anyway,
but I made some initial calls today to kind of look at it, because yes, there are some places, and I will tell you, and I think the previous mayor has said this once too, that, you know, that, our issue in the small town, and people come by and they may steal one here and there, cause I noticed down on, Dorothy Ann, the lots that were put in there, they had brand new signs up, and I think 2 or 3 of them already gone.
They decored the Holland House.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, but no, that's,
well, they make a thing called Gorilla Glue or something,
Yeah.
surely you can get.
yeah. Well, we'll certainly work on that, and if somebody wants to, you know, work with me on that project as well, identifying maybe the more immediate ones that are already missing, and what we need to do is, you know, that we can work on that. But yes, we do have $1,000 budget for that in the streets. I don't think it'd be too much difficult to do a few anyway, so. And, this company that's on the state contract list, they can do them fairly quickly too. And just, give you a note, I didn't say this earlier, but we're gonna put a few rumble strips on, Main Street down toward the stop sign. That was recommended to us, and that, we'll put a couple series of, not speed bumps, they're rumble strips. And so the difference is the height and the aggressiveness of the bar. So it'll be like a stop ahead sign. We'll put it down with heat, but it'll be raised up a little bit, so, and it'll be a series, I think, of 6 little strips. And so you run across that in a little space, and then you'll do, I think, 6 more strips before you get to the stop sign. So that was kind of recommended, and we've already got the product here in-house, we just gotta put it down. All right. Okay, a lot of good discussion tonight, no big actions that we had to take tonight. Next month may be a little different. If you have an item on the agenda that you want to place on the agenda, call me, and let's talk about it, and let's see if we can get it on the agenda, because you know, typically I'm the one that's putting this agenda together, but this is, you know, a board action. And so now with the new law that came out last year, that we have to post our agenda before we get to the meeting if we're gonna act on something. So we gotta get the item on the agenda if we're gonna take a motion on something, so. All right, at this time, I'll entertain an adjournment for this meeting.
I make the motion.
Okay, a motion in a second,
Me, I'll second.
by Alderman Maynard, and we are adjourned. If we could take about, let's see, about